Evening. Thank you so much, Kelsey, for having me. My name is Chris Good. I'm the owner of Ruby Jeans Juicery. In the last year, just started Ruby Jeans Foundation as a way to bring that full circle. Why juice? Ruby Jean was my late grandmother. She died at 61 from type 2 diabetes. 2 days before we took her off life support, my great grandmother spent that last hour with my grandma. Came out to the waiting room at St. Luke's on the Plaza, looked around at the family, took this big gasp for air, had a massive heart attack and died. And so I was 14 years old at the time, and so as a 14-year-old, I got to see my two matriarchs go in 48 hours. And, you know, I had this kind of like silent nudge way back then, like, man, I gotta tell people about my grandma one day. And didn't know how it was gonna happen. Fast forward a whole bunch of years. I was traveling as a catastrophe adjuster, making pretty good money. And I went to LA to visit a couple of boys of mine. And I get to LA and they're like, you know, I'm excited to be in LA. And they look back and they're like, bro, we forgot to tell you, we're not gonna eat today. I'm like, what you mean, I'm not gonna eat? And they're like, we're doing this juice cleanse. And I'm thinking, like, y'all done moved out here and got strange, you know? And so the next day, they set me down and we watched a documentary called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And at the beginning, I was annoyed that I was in LA watching the documentary. About midway through, I started listening. And then by the end, my mind was blown because this well-to-do gentleman struggling with his health. He's got the best doctors, the best access to healthcare. And he does his research and he lands on juice cleansing. And so he decides to drink juice for 60 days. That's it, just juice. For 60 days, drive across America, talking to people about why they picked the food they picked, so on and so forth. And by day 10, I had this clarity, and I started going to juice bars across the country, even when I came home from work, traveling, and just fell in love with the culture. And didn't know that all these juice bars I'm going to, all these pictures I'm taking, the menus I'm grabbing, that I was doing market research just as a consumer. Where it went from, I don't know how to wrap it up.
No,
I can feel you looking at me. where it went from this love for juice and, you know, a healthier lifestyle to a business, I got tired of traveling. So I had been to 3 different cities. I woke up in Schaumburg, Illinois, and I couldn't remember what city I was in. And it was like, dang, well, this ain't it. And I'm making north of 6 figures. Coming from Wabash, moved to South Kansas City, graduated from Ruskin. So making $100,000 a year is like, man, you doing all right. But my second brain was like, yeah, but what else?